Hello friends, my name is Emily and these are my friends.
Hello, I am Anna.
Hello, I'm Rahel.
Hello, I am Michelle.
Before going deeper about these types of testing, I will be explaining basics about testing methods. Okay, so as from the name, there are three types of basic sensory methods, which are discrimination methods, descriptive methods, and affective methods. But how do these methods differ? To determine the right testing method, you will need to ask yourself whether you are conducting a test to identify are there any differences between the product in any way, or you want to determine how is the product different in terms of their sensorical profile, or maybe how well the products are like or which products are preferred by consumers. Well, if you're aiming for the first one, then that means you will be using the discrimination method. After getting the answers from the panelists, answers are usually processed with statistics to determine how many answers are correct and incorrect. Then, based on the analysis, the answers will be obtained from the proportion of persons who are to choose a test product correctly from a set of controlled products. The second point is clearly more detailed than the first one because here you're asking for quantified perceived characteristics of a product, thus known as descriptive method. In this method, panelists are given intensive training for developing a comprehensive and flexible tool for the analysis of flavor to solve problems like how to eliminate off flavors from nutritional capsules. Otherwise, if it is different from those two, it will be a hedonic method. This method is the most straightforward approach to solve product preferences for consumers, typically containing a 9-point scale for liking with a neutral center category. Thus, the larger the panel size, the more effective the test would be, since we include high variability of individuals to assure a high statistical power and test sensitivity.
For the next part, we will continue with the application for each method for sensory evaluation. The first one will be the discriminative test. This test will be divided into two groups, which are the difference test and sensitivity test. Discriminative test becomes the test that will be used to know the difference that is tasted between two products. The example application of this test will be the alternative materials that can be used in the food product. The difference test is used to set if there are any differences between the sensorial properties or organoleptic between two samples. For example, application of this test will be to evaluate the effect of some modification process or materials during the food process in the food industry. Or it also can be used to know if there are any differences or similarities between two products from the same commodity. The discriminative test, including the differences test, will be applied in the process of analyzing research and final result assessment. For the second method, a descriptive test that has already been mentioned earlier will be used in the quality control field. The descriptive test will make it possible to completely get about the product description, to identify the materials and variable process to determine the sensorial attributes that are important for acceptance. This test will be useful in the situation where a detailed specification from the sensorial attributes from a product or comparison of the sensorial differences with the unwanted products. The other application of descriptive test besides for the quality control field is also to observe the product competitors because in descriptive analysis can be shown in detail how the sensorial competitor's product dimension that is tested. This test is very useful in finding the way out of customers' complaint. The last method will be the affective test, which will be related to the person assessment on properties or quality of a material that will be liked. So the application of this test is to see and observe people's view of a product with certain materials and processing methods due to the sensorial attributes of the food product.
After we know the basic explanation and the application of the three testing methods, now I will explain the differences between each testing method based on the number and type of panelists. In the discrimination method, the ideal number of panelists to use is around 30 until 50 people because this method is very dependent on statistical factors so that a larger number of panelists will show better data. In addition, the panelists used can be trained or semi-trained because in this method the panelists only screening without measuring the characteristic of the products. In contrast to the discrimination method, the ideal number of panelists to use in the descriptive method is fewer, which is around 10 until 15 people. This is because in this method, the type of panelists used must also be trained panelists. The use of trained panelists is carried out in order to obtain a sensory profile of the product so that the evaluation must be carried out objectively. Meanwhile, the hedonic method measures the level of preference by consumers. Thus, the number of panelists required for this product must be very large to be able to obtain validation of the level of product preference. In addition, the assessment is also carried out by untrained panelists, who in this context are consumer, because only an evaluation of the level of preference for the product will be carried out. Furthermore, we can also see the difference between these three testing methods based on their main objective. In the discrimination method, the main objective is to be able to answer the simple question, does this product have any difference? Where the product being analyzed will be compared with one or some other product. Panelists will have to answer several questions about product differences with simple answer, yes or no. The answer from each panelist will then be analyzed statistically to obtain valid data. In the descriptive method, the main objective is to provide a description of the intensity of the sensory characteristic. The descriptive method will explain further information on the differences between each product. Meanwhile, the main objective in the hedonic method is to evaluate product based on the level of preference of consumer.
Case example for each methods. Case example for differentiation or discrimination test is ABCDE company wants to reformulate its biscuit product to reduce raw material costs. The R&D team want to know if there was a difference in taste, aroma, texture, and appearance between the biscuit that had been formulated and those that were not. Case example for descriptive test is the EFGH company producing a new snack bar made from banana peel flour. The R&D team want to know the sensory profile and properties of the new developed snack bar to find out the advantage and the disadvantage between the product produced and the competitors' products. Case example for the affective or hedonic test is the R&D in company IJK has developed an apple juice product. The R&D team wants to know that their new apple juice product will be liked by their target consumer or not.